parents how to treat snow days.
Wait a minute. Was this before the
year?
Start? Okay.
You know, they said, do you guys like to use snow days as remote learning, or would you rather it be snow days? And it was almost unanimous. Let the kids have snow days.
Yeah.
And they said, you got it.
Okay.
So snow days or snow days?
Just stay at home.
Yep, stay at home, no work, no
Go
assignments.
make forts and stuff.
Not that we get snow to actually build anything with it.
No, not this year. Yeah.
So we did once.
Yeah. This last snow was really dry though, man. It was like flaky powder, stuff. Although I heard like southern mountains like Santa Cristos and San Juan's got plastered with like 8 fucking feet of snow.
I would not be surprised. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be too hurting for water if the mountains keep getting snow.
Yeah, I think they were worried about that a little bit, but that's like everybody's like, oh, it's cool now.
We're good. Let's get spring in.
So I hear there's like towns down there that are isolated. Like there's no way to get into them except for via helicopter right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You just wish it was Telluride and actually stranded a bunch of like Oprah level celebrities. So
I was at the hospital at Denver with my mom, and one of the guys there just liked my Bronco hat, and he started telling me, he said, Telluride got like 4 feet of snow.
Nice.
So, yeah, they might be.
I don't know. I'm very suspicious of anybody who talks about Telluride, though. It's just like, oh, really? So it's like the Aspen for Aspen people?
Right. It is, yeah. It's like they will let anybody in there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think I haven't been there in probably, oh my god, 20 years.
You don't belong.
Aspen or Telluride?
I haven't been either. I have only been to Aspen once when I was a kid. And it was one of those things where my dad's like, oh, we just got to drive on through because we can't afford anything here. so we get down to Basalt, there's McDonald's. It's like, fuck yeah.
You realize Aspen is the location of the infamous Arnold Schwarzenegger croissant story, right?
Oh, that's a good story. You should tell that one.
Oh, well, this was a guy that like when Patrick and I worked at the airport, we'd occasionally see celebrities come by. I'd met a guy who was working in a restaurant in Aspen, and evidently Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a good customer, right?
Oh.
So he's in there, and if you know what it's just expensive in Aspen. And when it comes to actually like cooking, do you know what a croissant is?
I know the Pillsbury kind.
As do most of us, right?
Okay.
You just beat it up, and what it is it's you know how it's supposed to be like layers of flavor.
Right.
Well, that's butter,
Yeah.
right?
It's dough and butter and dough
Right.
and butter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you make them; they're extravagant, right? So he's kind of pushy about this, and eventually he says, right? And he's in a good restaurant, right? And he pitched a fit about this. He's like, I can't eat this. They're too greasy.
Guy's from Austria, man.
I know, you should know this, but that's the funny part is like, it's because you're eating a good croissant. You're not eating one of the ones from the can, right?
You didn't bang it on the counter first.
Right. Yeah, and there's nothing you could do. He's just like, bring me something else, right? But you got exactly what you ordered, and it is the good stuff.
Gotcha.
If you've ever had the experience of having a God's on, you can get them in the Paris and Las Vegas.
So
Like good croissants? Yeah.
So the Safeway ones that come 10 in a bundle.
I don't mind those at all.
No,
Don't get me wrong.
Are they done right, or they're
They're not the same.
They're not the same. Okay.
I think the best one that I've had is actually at Marigold. So
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is that other dish that we used to get there? It's a dessert that is like so fucking decadent. It just like shaves years off your life.
Well, there's a couple of things. You're talking about also layered?
Yeah.
Right.
What the fuck is that?
Those are Napoleons.
Yeah, you're right.
Napoleons are goddamn delightful.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had never had one of those until you said you got to get this. So, yeah.
Well, there's one other kind of layered dessert that I always go crazy for is baklava.
Baklava.
Yeah.
I always thought that was the thing that you put
That's,
over your head.
I always say that too. That's yeah, but that is phyllo dough. That's super thin dough
Oh.
that disintegrates the second you touch it. So
Isn't it like almost transparent?
very close? Yeah, it's almost like wax paper. Right.
Yeah.
And so after you go through, your 14 years of dough handling, you have now earned the right to put a layer of honey and nuts on top of it, and then put another layer of that super thin
Zero
dough.
teams of baklava.
Yes. And then you do that about 60 more times.
Mm.
And what you have is the most decadent sweet thing that you've ever come across.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, no, I do remember the Napoleons. Though.
Those are great.
Yeah.
I one of those right this second.
Right now.
Yeah.
I want one right now.
Yeah, if they had like a, I don't know, like a Nabisco version that.
Coming in an Oreo stack. Yeah.
All right, we're 5.5 minutes in. 6 minutes in.
Oh, okay.
I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
What are we doing, Will?
We are coffeeing before bed.
Well, Jeff and I are. What are you doing?
Mountain Dewing before bed.
You're gonna tell everybody about the complications with your previous Mountain Dew.
I'd rather not, but
Nice.
so they
Painful as you
didn't
think.
provide me a straw with my cup that I got from Freddy's, and
Is this a legit complaint against Freddy's?
well, they didn't give me a straw, and they didn't give me napkins.
All right. Are you gonna go back?
I will absolutely
Okay.
go back. So I had to remove the lid and drink it like a savage, and
You did.
realized that if I do so, I'm going to have to start chewing ice, and that probably doesn't sound good. So it seemed to logically make sense to remove the ice, and so I decided to strain it and strained it down the sink. So
The Mountain Dew.
the Mountain Dew. So I had a
Right.
cup of ice. So
I think your thinking was sound. You just didn't catch the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
You let the sink do its job.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise you would have had an empty cup of ice,
I would have.
and you could have just dumped that and then put the Mountain Dew
Yes.
back in it, but
Yes.
it just didn't
I
work
totally skipped a step there.
out. Yeah.
So do not rush into your ideas. You think it through all the way.
Well, we also had a spare. So,
Multiple spares.
yeah, we had multiple spares. So, it worked out.
It does.
It's cool.
And yes, it's true. I can drink Mountain Dew and go to sleep just fine.
I never had a problem with
Caffeine.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No.
People look at me sideways when I tell them that. Like,
I just tell them I work graveyard shift long enough where it's like, it has no effect.
It
anymore.
doesn't.
Yeah. So I drink coffee in the morning when I get up. I drink it at night before I go to bed. So,
Gonna be honest with you, I think the part that wakes me up with coffee isn't even the caffeine. I think it's the taste. I think it's such a specific, it's such a overpowering flavor that it's one of the few things that can get you to stop thinking about, oh yeah, I could just go back to bed right now.
well, it's warm too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I like hot coffee in the morning. So it does wake you up a little bit.
It does.
So
Yeah.
I need a shower in the morning. That wakes me up.
I can go right back to bed after a shower.
actually, yeah.
Happy.
So in fact, yeah, for a while there, I was actually showering before I went to bed.
Oh,
So-
the Japanese way.
When I get an insomnia bout, that's what usually cures it. I'll do that
Oh.
for 3 or 4 days, and then I'll go back to normal. So, but yeah, no, I'm the same way as you, man. Like I'll take a hot shower, and I'm like, oh shit, it's time for bed.
So you go through the trauma of actually getting out of bed, especially on.
Trauma.
Yeah, I
It's
think
a really good word for that.
I'm just gonna say, well, because you're taking, like this would cause a baby to cry if you did that.
Sure.
Right. So you've built up a really nice cocoon, especially when you have a dog in the sheets, right? And especially on these days like this when it's been 7 below, right? So you break the seal, you get out, you're cold, you go into the most relaxing environment that you can, which just melts the stress off. And then if you have the choice of like doing things or starting things or returning back to the womb,
You go back to the womb.
every time.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10.
When do you get out?
When I'm done sleeping.
Yeah, I mean,
This is why I'll never work a normal job again, man. I can't do it. I can't go back.
I sleep like 4 times a day, but in little chunks.
You do the wolf sleep thing.
I do.
So
yeah.
they try to teach us how to do that on the railroad, where you sleep for like 4 hours, but you sleep like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sitting. So or something like that, or maybe it's like 2 hours 4 times a day, or some weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that the way they teach like Navy SEALs to do it too?
Well, in the Navy, they do it with watches like that. So where
There you go.
you're
Yeah.
usually on 4 and off 4, and so you have watch 3 times in a 24-hour period. I don't know if the SEALs do it that way. I'm sure they do.
I thought
So-
they talked about some technique where it was just all based off of you will likely be up 24 hours straight.
Right.
You need to have techniques so that when you need to sleep, you fall asleep like this, and you're gone for 1 to 2 hours, and then you pop back up
Yeah.
and fucking choke slam.
Right. Yeah. Podcast.
Like,
So
I don't know.
slide kicks Saddam Hussein. Yeah. You know?
Like, it's not 100%, but there's a good chance, like, they'll be Islamic. But I don't know.
Well, maybe not anymore, but yeah.
So you want to talk about that?
I don't really want to talk about that, man. I'm not looking forward to the end of the world.
Is that where it's going?
Probably.
I
You
had...
live further out east than me, so you better stock up on machetes.
I have a katana.
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
probably
not
not as good
sharp.
as you think it is, too. It's probably like mine, where if you smack something with it, you're going to break the handle on it.
You know what, though?
So-
But you do have that that kitchen knife sharpener. I'll bet you that would work.
I don't, man, I mean, if to like get an actual katana that can actually hold a blade, I don't know, man.
Oh, dude, I
don't think any of the ones that you're going to find on eBay are going to do that. So
no, unless they've actually been sharpened up by somebody.
Sure, but even if you sharpen it up, you use it a few times, it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
go dull real fast.
Oh,
where
exactly,
like the
yeah.
real ones, you know, you can use them over and over and over again.
Well, even then they would sharpen those up.
Oh, they
too.
have to, yeah. Yeah.
That's
But like I always saw there was something that I saw on YouTube the other day. It was this guy who made like this tactical sword. You know, he was like one of these knife makers who, you know, took a break from making Nazi knives.
Did he give the impression that? Did he seem like the?
Oh,
kind?
he had all the tattoos. Yeah. So, and I never saw the left side of his neck, so I'm not sure. But anyway.
Well, I don't know if that counts as answering any of my 3 racism tests, but I feel like that should be an honorary point or 2.
Well, if you score that one, then you don't have to take the test again.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. What is it? What was it in college? Like you.
You clip out. You clip out of the racism test if you get a shoe stuffle tattoo. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need 101. No, it's it would have been 100 for.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get out of
The
English
prereqs.
1 and 2.
Yeah. That's right.
But no, he built like this carbon fiber steel, like, you know, tactical sword thing. You know, and then he was like, yeah, he was kind of like walking through this, and he was like, well, one of the problems with like virtually every replica sword that you're going to buy out there is it's not made of steel that's designed to hold a blade. It's designed to polish really good so it looks good.
Oh.
So, yeah, but he was like, okay, so I've got this carbon fiber steel whatever thing. It looked ugly as shit, but he's sitting there slicing paper with it, you know? Yeah. So, it was
But
like,
that actually explains a lot. Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is the other popular myth is, like, for as cool as it looks, like, swords were not supposed to bang against each other.
No,
Like,
no.
That's a problem.
No, you're supposed to bang it against somebody.
Yeah, especially in their soft parts.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the actual hard parts will stop the sword from... Like, have you ever seen the illustrations of, like, how knights were supposed to fight each other?
Oh, yeah, with the pommels and stuff where they're basically bashing each other.
Well, there's that, and also where they show the techniques where you're supposed to be holding it like 2 hands like this.
Yeah.
and putting this into the sockets of their armor.
Yeah, you don't fucking Highlander it,
Right,
you know, where you've
right.
got both hands on it.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's why it's got that leather piece on it right there. I don't know. I've only watched a couple sword shows. I can only take so much of the LARPing going on there before I'm just like, I'm out. So one of you guys is going to throw a koosh ball at somebody else and call it a fireball. So,
I mean, again, and I don't have a problem with that in principle. If you're actually having a good time, I do not care.
oh, knock yourself out. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, my only issue is when you start bending that reality into expecting other people to buy into your reality.
Well, yeah, and that's usually where that one goes pretty quickly. So, or it devolves into a debate about, like, you know,
Go ahead.
well, yeah, like 15th century sword fighting stuff. It's like none of you fucking were in the 15th century. They didn't have like Skype back then or like, you know, digital cameras, so they didn't record this shit. So everything is 100% speculation. All right.
Yeah.
Now you and your buddy can get together and take a look at this thing and probably figure it out. It's not exactly terribly complicated. But you,
Right.
yeah, but you know, that's a little bit different than lining a couple hundred dudes up against each other and letting them go at it to see how it actually works.
No, yeah, there are bits and
You
pieces
can't really do that.
where they can for sure say this is how this worked. Where they say, all right, well, once these guys started wearing armor, right?
Yeah.
It became way more effective to carry around like a mace,
mace,
or
yeah.
a hammer,
Yeah.
right? They say, well, how can you prove that? You say, well, take a look at this. This is a big ass hammer dent, right? This
Right,
is a
yeah.
shield, or this is a guy's face,
Right.
right?
This is a crushed, you know, helmet. You
Right.
know? So not slashed, crushed. Yeah.
And then they get to that point where they can also prove, they can say, well, so this is the moment, the singular moment that armor becomes useless. Like, how do you know? It's like, well, because this is a crossbow,
Yeah.
and this actually goes through this
Right,
dumbass, you know,
Yeah.
shit that you're. This actually makes you a better target.
Right. Yeah. You don't move as fast.
So, well, that sucks.
Or would just shoot your horse.
And I don't know how actually dishonorable that was. I know that in Defenders of the Crown on the NES, that
Yeah.
you will have your rank and title stripped for,
Shooting somebody's horse.
well, for clobbering it in a tournament.
Oh
In
yeah.
a tournament, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what an actual. I don't know if that's something
I don't
that.
know.
But tell me this: is medieval Europe under the same kind of class restraints where you're not supposed to grease somebody that's above your station?
Oh, like Japan?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know enough about it, so that's like the black hole in my history, like knowledge.
I don't know what
So-
you call those people.
Yeah. So after the fall of the Roman Empire, I was kind of like, this place sucks. So, and then you don't pick it up till after they invent guns, and then they get exciting again. So,
Yeah, warfare sort of changes after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I got a little bit into it just by playing CK2. So,
That's a game.
it is a game.
No, it
Yeah.
is. It's a game.
Yeah. But it's also like, it's one of the only things that actually fills that gap for me.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there and start reading. I think I took one medieval Europe class.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Were you surrounded by dorks?
Yes. Yeah. The only class that was worse was the military history one.
I can't even imagine.
That one was terrible. It was half dorks and half veterans who knew everything already. It was like, why are you
Yeah, but
paying
that's-
for a class that you already know all the shit in?
That's
So-
dorkage of its own level.
It kind of is,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it was also one of those things. Then I looked around and said, "Wait a minute, you're in here too. You already know what these guys are going to say next." Yeah. So then after that, that's when I started picking classes. Like, I don't know shit about this, so
Yeah,
I'm going to go
yeah.
take that class instead. So,
Oh, I love that.
Are they just trying to collect credits, or is it to feel good about?
no, man,
the
it's
stuff? They
like
just want to hear it again.
I think it's more along the latter there, where it's like, oh, well, I want to hear his take on it and correct him whenever I think he's wrong. So which is a kind of a brain disease that actually does inflict people who study history for like realsies. So, you know.
History for reals. I love that. That's
Well, it's people who are actually like going to try and make a career out of it.
right.
Which is ridiculous.
No, you need to come clean right now. Is
Right.
If you're studying history that hard, just
go read.
well, no, not just read, but also just be prepared. Like what you need to be studying is coaching wrestling. What you need to be studying.
Oh, if you're going
is-
to teach it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, absolutely. At the
Yeah.
high school level?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. So I had so many people, and I've even like run into people since then through my interchanges with the academic world or the education landscape was just like, okay, you're going to be a history teacher? Great. You better be one of three things. You better be like a state, football champion, okay,
Right.
who went to the big school and has contacts there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's number one. Number two, you need to check off like 3 of at least 5 boxes on the diversity checklist. So yeah, so you need to get at least 3 of those. So and male and white aren't on the list. So now homosexual only gets you 1 out of the 3 that you
Correct.
need.
Normally, that gets you right into the VIP lounge, but not in
Not
this
anymore.
field.
Not
No.
anymore. No,
No.
not in this field. So
Because they do take white males. Don't get me wrong, but it's just they have a lot of them.
well, yeah, or you better be the football guy. So yeah, but they're gonna plug you in because of football, not because of history. And so
I would argue that there's one other factor that can play into this.
okay,
Speaking a dead language or a Latin or something like that.
maybe not at the high school level, but like if you're gonna teach college, you have to bring a language.
Well-
So and it's got. I was told when I was in my master's, it was like, okay, if you want to do anything that's in like anything Western Civ related, you have exactly 2 choices of languages to go learn. Which were they?
German?
Nope.
No. Okay. Latin.
Yep.
Greek.
Greek.
Yeah. Because that's Romans and Greeks.
That's Romans
Yeah.
and Greeks.
Yeah.
But the reason is like almost all the histories for like another 1,000 years were written in either one of those
Yeah.
2. So yeah.
But see, well, the other reason I was saying that is the transfer over because it is still in like the humanities area.
Sure.
Is if you do have a language where you can actually, if you're fluent, you can teach that and then do
Right. Yeah, no, that's true too.
That's another way in.
yeah. Yeah,
Other
so
than
if you
just
like
being-
spoke Chinese, they'd give you a job.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're not fit to coach pull-ups, or if you're not like if you put all of your 3d6 rolls into academics and none into strength, right?
Yeah.
Then you'd better speak,
yeah.
right?
Do they still teach history in every high school?
Oh
Or
yeah.
is that getting
They
phased
do.
out?
No, they do.
It
When you
should.
say, okay, when you say phased out, what do you mean phased out?
Like it's merged with geography.
Yeah,
and-
it is.
Yeah, they
it's
do.
still social
It is.
studies.
It is straight up
Okay,
social
okay.
studies.
Yeah. So, but you go through like rounds of that, like in middle school now, you still have like 1 year where you focus on government. And then you have another year that's basically history, and then the other one I think is geography. Or those 2 might be flip flopped.
I think if I recall,
oh wait, you taught, but you were teaching English, right?
yeah, if I recall, geography and world history get wrapped up into sort of like into the same.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Curriculum.
Peanut butter cup. I don't know. Whatever you call
Right.
it. I don't know.
It's a trail mix.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
and the other part about history is it's how many months do they teach a year?
Months?
Yeah, so eight months.
Probably.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's 2 months of history, 4 months of Black History Month, then 2 months of Women's History Month.
Oh no, it's now it's Women's History Month.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get 2 of those.
Oh no, I thought you only got 1.
Bullshit.
Oh, okay. I don't
You
know.
get 2. You get 4 Black History.
You get 4?
They don't call it
Oh.
that.
I thought you only got 1.
I think you get what I'm saying.
I
Is it
think you're
not
exaggerating
actually-
a little bit, but yeah.
No, man.
So, but quite honestly, man, I mean, there are like no standards on any of the Colorado tests that actually involve
history at all.
history after after government. So there's like a social studies assessment that they do in like
Is it
8th
still
grade.
called civics?
I think it's called it might be called civics. I think it's called American government or something like
Well,
that.
some places call it government and law. Some places
Government
call
law, yeah. But it's essentially that thing, and that's because like I think the Colorado standards actually have 1 year of that. And it's like pegged at like 8th grade, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's not far. Okay.
No.
I'm curious to see what William goes through. I have no idea how the school works anymore.
No.
Well, and some places are a little bit different. Like I know, I believe in Texas, you have to. It is state law that you have to take 1 year of Texas history.
Oh, really?
I believe so. Yeah. 1 year.
These are the Rangers. These got the Comanche.
Okay, let me rephrase that. You are required to take 1 year of what they call Texas history.
Their version of history?
Yeah, there's a lot of Texas history which is mired in
Sensationalism?
Slavery.
I won't say it, but I mean, it's there's a version that's taught. There's a version where if you ask anybody else that was involved in it or any of those other records, they do not tell the same story.
I don't think they should teach history in high school at all anymore. I've got to the point in time where it should be 100% elective. So take it if you want. If not, no worries. So
I can see that because everybody's got their own spin on it now, especially like.
well, but the schools have always had different spins on
Yeah,
that,
that's
man.
true.
I mean, it was totally different during the Cold War, you know, how history was
Yeah.
taught and stuff like
yeah.
that. And then, you know, like history is consistently, like everybody, oh, I hate revisionist history. All fucking history is revisionist.
Yeah.
Always
So there is no way around that. You know, it's just what story are we telling right now?
Yes.
You know, so, and then you get to college and even like your first 2 years, you have to get to like upper division classes before even the history professors are kind of like, all right, all this shit you thought you knew, it's garbage. So start over, son. You know?
Well, I mean, there's a piece of it where, because I started taking some of those upper division ones, and it wasn't that they said all of it, but it was kind of like when they. So we know what Christmas is now, right?
Right.
But then they break it down and say, well, so here's where Christmas comes from. There is this smidgen of truth and this smidgen of truth. And it comes from, you know, this, and it's because parents were, I don't know, beating up their kids,
Right.
or, you know, and this is where this fucking, you know, they say, like, so it all starts with this sort of Eldritchian monster, right? And it's, you know, those ones with no eyes, but they have teeth and lots of tentacles. So that's where Christmas comes from. And then, you know, so they there's a little kernel of this, and this
It's a
is how
little
this is
kernel of
represented
truth,
right
yeah.
now. It's not all trash, but there's a small bit of that in there.
Yeah.
That is still slightly true.
Well, and that's because in those upper division classes like that, they do teach you that two things can be consistently true. It can be, you know, prima facie, they can both be true, all right, but they can be conflicting, all right? And so the fact that just because this one is on means that one has to be off, you need to stop thinking that way. Because it doesn't work like that. You need to go take math classes then.
Yes, that's right.
You know, you have to understand that both of these things could be true or they could both be false and we wouldn't know it.
Yeah,
So-
see, and that's
But no, Christmas was actually pasted right on top of a pagan holiday.
all the holidays were like that because they were trying to wipe out all these old religions. Like, well, yeah, sort of.
It's like, wait a minute, what version of Christmas do you celebrate?
Kind of the question there is like, and there's also the significant part of we just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
These are our best guesses.
Yeah, it is lost to the sands of time. It is beyond the historical veil. You cannot know. Unless someone breaks open a basement in Italy and suddenly finds, like, lost archives from, you know, rescued from the Library of Alexandria. If it happens, cool, sweet, yeah.
And
but-
that's fine. And then you can spend the next 100 years validating and arguing its authenticity.
Absolutely.
Right? Because there's a lot of shit where, okay, he wrote this down. Why did he write it down? Is he actually, who is this? Like there are things like it's almost like an art when they used to paint pictures of Native Americans in Europe because people would go to the New World, come back, tell these stories, and you have these paintings of Native Americans who look like Nords.
Right. Yeah.
Like, wait, these are from...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is exactly what they
It's
told me
exactly
they are.
what they look like, yeah. So, yeah.
And if you took that as a historical source, and I mean, let's talk about the period of history where it's just, well, people just say it.
Right. It's been passed
Right,
down.
yeah. So it's all gone. That's where it gets turns over to Indiana Jones, man. That's his purveyance now.
We've all played telephone before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, well, yeah. I don't know. It's just, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about that lately, and it's just like, shut up. Don't worry about it. You know, don't even bother with that shit anymore. None of y'all can do fucking math anyway, so do more math.
I don't have a problem with that because there's a lot of things that can actually do math for you.
That's correct. Yeah.
So what should we learn in school?
Math.
English.
Maybe a little bit of scientific method. So if you're
That I'm
interested,
100 on board with. As a matter of fact, if I had my way, right?
Oh, and Jeffrey's gulags.
Go.
Educational gulags. So
The entirety of science would be currently based on corrective measures, getting people to stop worshiping science as a deity. Okay? This is completely unacceptable. This is something where we need to tear apart the method and understand the method will change on a regular basis. So stop speaking about bullshit so confidently when they have no basis to talk about.
All right.
No, I'm not trying to start a debate. I'm just saying,
I was
like,
expecting a
I'm
lot.
fucking mad. No,
I don't think anybody's gonna fight you on this one, man.
I guarantee you,
Well, there's
people
plenty.
will fight.
No, at this table.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys?
No.
No.
You can go find people on the Twitter. to go
Greatly
fucking-
angered
Yeah,
me.
I can
All
find
the
people.
science I
plenty.
believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find plenty of people to argue right now. It's just it won't be meaningful,
Yeah,
and I will tell all of them that I banged their mothers.
on Twitter.
That's if that's where the argument's going, I might as well just go straight to the point.
Just
I don't
get
even
right
wanna,
to it. Yeah.
I don't want to argue the point. I'm just going to tell you I did naughty stuff to your mom.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue anything. So.
No. It was.
Are you still banned?
I'm banned, but I'm not banned.
Have
You're
you
banned
made your way
again?
back?
No, I was shadow banned.
Shadow
Wait,
banned.
what's shadow ban?
Well, you're the IT guy.
I don't go on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
He shouldn't know that. That has nothing to do with security. It has everything to do where
Abstinence is security. Stay away.
That's actually a good
Yeah,
one.
that's-
Yeah. Abstinence
that's
and
good
security.
stuff.
Yeah. So you won't get the IT aids.
That's good stuff. I never know what my first tier 2 was going to be, but you just gave it to me. There you go.
So what is shadow ban?
Shadow ban is when basically only people who opt in to see your messages can see them.
Oh,
So you
okay.
post.
He did describe that.
Yeah,
before. I
you
just didn't
post, it
even
looks
say
fine
shadow.
on your end, but nobody can see it on their end. You can do the same thing on YouTube, so just by hiding comments. And so, like, he posted a couple comments on some of my videos that he's trying to pick fights with my guys there, but he used a couple words like Black Lives Matter. That thing right there got him like where he was kicked over, where I had to approve that content, that comment. So, and then I asked him about it, and he's like, "Well, you didn't even know."
No.
Yeah, so it looks fine from your end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have no clue
Oh.
that you've been
No,
hidden from the world.
you've just been muted. So
You have to basically sign it to a different account to look and see if your stuff is getting posted.
yeah,
That's
you
correct.
can do that. But
that's
then,
how I found out I was.
yeah, but then like
was bored.
if he's got followers, they can click on his.
They'll always see what you post.
They see. Oh, your followers do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So all you need to
Gotcha.
do is build like a 10,000 man army. So
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want a 10,000 man army.
Oh,
You
you just want
want
to throw
it.
shit?
Well, yeah, because if to build a 10,000 man army, you need consistency.
Oh yeah, that's
And
hard.
that's the thing is, with shitposting, you're going to be arguing the opposite points case by case.
yeah.
You're deliberately trying to piss people off.
Right.
So if that's your only form of consistency, great. That's not going to do much except get you shadow banned when you're,
Got it.
So who shadow bans you? Was it
Twitter.
it's
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's an administrator who comes in there.
Oh no, they don't say anything. It is just they when you get banned, they show you your infraction. They tell you why. They say, "Woo woo." They will say,
hang your head on the pad of shame kind of thing.
no. They just say you can appeal this if you want. Okay, they're not going to reverse it.
No.
You can appeal this if you want. Your suspension will be this long, and it will begin the moment that you delete your offending tweets.
So you don't have to at least beg for forgiveness. Right?
So wait a minute. If you don't delete the tweets, then you're just banned.
Your suspension does not begin.
Oh, so you can't get out of jail.
Correct.
So,
You
got
can't
it.
just wait it out and say like, "Oh, but I said my piece," right?
Right.
So whatever it is, if my political message that's offensive is handshot first, okay,
Right.
I can't start my suspension until I erase my political message.
So you have to erase it even though it's been shadow banned.
No, once you return, you have a good chance of being shadow banned.
Right.
Ah, okay.
After you do your time.
Gotcha. And then is there a time when you get shadow banning removed? Who knows?
Who knows?
Can happen, might not happen. You can Instagram it, right? You can tweet to Twitter support or whatever and do stuff like that. Or you can start a new account.
Yeah, with a new email. Yeah.
Huh, emails are hard to make.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true, man. I paid Comcast $40,000 for my last one. I don't know if I can.
I can't afford to get banned again. So we're gonna come up with a scratch. So what's didn't Donald Trump launch his new Twitter?
I think it's come. I don't know.
What
if
is it called? Is
got
it
launched yet?
Truth. Yeah,
really? It's called Truth.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Well, the way
That's gonna catch on like wildfire.
the waiting queue to get in is 100,000 deep.
Wait a minute. Why is there a waiting queue to get in? Don't you just sign up?
I don't know the process, but
Oh.
basically, when people were signing up, they say like, "Welcome aboard. We have this many, burgers to sell before we get."
100,000 served only.
It's like, hey, no problem. As soon as Burger 100,000 gets out the door, because
Sorry, we're out of donuts.
that was the funny
Welcome to the
thing.
line at In-N-Out.
Yeah.
That's okay. All right. So Twitter is by nature it is preferential treatment, right? That is the blue check mark
Right.
debacle. That's where you become invincible. That's where you can say, boy, I wish every Democrat dies of COVID, right? And they'll be like, this doesn't break the rules.
Really?
Rule number one is you can't wish death on anybody. Right? But you can flag
But
them.
you can do a group.
Oh, you can. Well, no, you could say. Look, people would do that to say like they'd say that to DeSantis
Oh, right. Oh, I'm sure Trump had it a billion times.
all day long,
Oh,
all
yeah.
day, every day. Never got banned for it because it was. Look, you can flag shit all day long. Okay, they'll look at that and they'll be like, you're a check mark. You're fine. It's fine. So
That's a popular opinion. We can't ban you for that.
Wasn't there a time where you could get that check mark like really easily?
oh yeah, well, there's a couple of ways to do that. Number one, in the early days of Twitter when they were trying. So if you jumped on back then, and you just happened to be like if you were just Pat.
Yeah.
And you showed yourself as Pat, did some posts as Pat. They're like, well, I can prove his identity. Bonk. Right?
Really?
Yeah. Now the process is one of two ways. Okay. One is you have to have demonstrated by their standards some form of like significance.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to have some kind of public impact, like you're actually publishing articles or something.
Well, publishing articles, or you are that Twitch streamer with 100,000
Oh, okay.
or whatever, right?
Or
They
you
can
are the
verify.
judge in this county kind of
Sure.
thing. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And then the other way is just to pay for it. Right.
Oh, you can pay for it?
Well, so here's,
$5.
well, no. So, like, take a look at it this way. Like, so this was something I heard on the Brian Quinn was talking about this from IJ. They're like, no, the company just does it. They just said like, well, the guys need their Twitter accounts. They're like, hey, no problem. It'll cost this much. They don't sit there and vet those guys. They just say like the company does it. Right. So a lot of places they go out there, they need this many people verified. So they just they pay Twitter and
Got it.
right. Now I don't doubt that you could go on there and say like, Nope, I'm actually Kurt Schilling. Right? How can you prove it? Well,
Here's my driver's license.
here's my driver's license and a copy of my 5 most racist tweets. It's like, oh, that's him.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the guy.
So yeah, that's it. So, but the thing is, they built this sort of like hierarchy in there. So even people that were, setting up accounts at Truth or whatever it's called, they got dumped in the queue. They're like, wait, there's no easy pass. There's no. You guys just don't take a picture of my license plate and I drive right on through. It's like, no, man, the fucking line to Ellis Island starts there, and you don't get to jump the queue.
So they're making
wait a
sure
minute, are they
everybody
actually
that signs
verifying
in,
people?
yeah.
I don't know if it's verifying or it's taking them time to like process all the shit. But yeah, a lot of people were like, I'm going to sign up for this. They sign up and they show pictures of, shit, man, there's 120,000 people ahead of me.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, but is it just going to do the thing like that happened to, what was the other one?
Get her?
Yeah. Is it just going to turn to a shit show?
Well, that place was different. That was a problem because they couldn't fulfill their promises. Okay? And the reason was, when all was said and done, they were still hosted by Amazon servers. Right?
I thought that was the other one. The conservative one last
Well, that's what I'm
spring.
talking about.
No, there was one before that.
Oh, you
Is it Rumble or?
No.
No, it's not Rumble. There's been like 3 attempts at this now.
Yeah.
So the first one was that it was like Liberty or something. No, it's not
No,
Liberty.
it wasn't that.
It was
it wasn't that.
I don't remember. Parlor. There we go.
Yeah.
Parlor.
Same problem.
Yeah. So same problem. Amazon.
Problem. Yeah, because they existed before any of the. So all of this is all spurred on by the fucking September 6th nonsense, right? Where.
Sure.
January 6th?
January.
Oh, I'm
6th.
sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Sorry. I'm
Don't worry, we'll have another one.
My apologies, William. I'm trying to separate January 6th from all the other world-ending and Holocaustian events that people equate this to. Yeah, so after this, there was, if you didn't disown this thing, basically the people at the end caps, was like, well, we don't support this. This is insurrectionist. This is, like, you're gone. And if you support this on, and I'm telling you, like, there were a lot of websites I went to that, like, if this came up, like, in the politics forum and you did not fall against it, boom, you're banned. And then a lot of places just nuke their whole politics forums entirely. It's like, I can't do this. Because if they find this on here at any time, my host can dunk me.
Yeah.
Right? So
I still get it on some of the Discord servers that I'm on. They're just like, no, there is no fucking politics.
Not gonna happen.
You're not allowed to talk
No.
about that.
and that's fine. Look,
Oh yeah, no. If that's like, if the site's about something that's like completely like adjacent to that.
of course.
Sorry.
Man, I bet you model trained people have some really strong political opinions.
Oh my god, they're the worst, dude.
Which side do model trained people lean?
Oh, they're all communists, like real communists. So not even like socialist Bernie Sanders, but they'll like roll out the fucking tanks communists.
Is it real?
No.
Oh. I'm like, all right.
No. They're like the most mild people, like, just milk toast kind of, completely, no, none of that at all. So, yeah.
So, like, the beaver's still alive?
Oh, yeah, very much so. Yeah.
So, what?
Wally and the beef?
Yeah.
Still alive?
Wally and the Beef,
those guys.
Yeah. That's a way old. Yeah. So, yeah, but I've seen them like nuke all those. I'm just worried about two things. Well, I don't know. I don't know which one of these I'd put more faith in either. So like Donald Trump's Twitter, Liberty. What is it again?
Truth.
Truth. Okay. Truth. Becomes conservative Twitter. Amazon has no control over it, so it doesn't get nuked. Okay. does that become conservative Twitter so they have a fort over there, and then enough people leave like Twitter Prime where it just becomes a liberal hive at that point in time? And what happens then? They don't fight each other. You know, it's like two ships that go in opposite directions.
Well, I think you've nailed it. Well,
is that what's gonna?
Okay.
Is that what's gonna happen?
So I guess the best way I can describe this from what I'm seeing, right? And keep in mind, this is where Parler fell apart. Is the whole thing was based off of, no, we're not going to restrict speech, right? Which then got turned into, oh, well, it's Nazi Twitter then. It's like, no, that's not what we're doing. But then Amazon said, well, you're not going to talk about this. So then Parler had to go out there and say, well, actually, we do have rules, right?
Yeah, sure. You can't post child porn here. I get it.
Right. So, well, and then they kind of took it to the full length. They said, well, this is worthless, right?
Right.
So this was the idea that the Truth app, and this is where I do appreciate it, is their whole argument is, yes, there are standards of decency, like this is a crime. Obviously, you cannot post this here, right? However, we are not designed to restrict your political ideas, which again gives it the moniker of, oh, well, then it's Nazi Twitter, right?
But people are saying that already?
Of course.
Well, so these are people on the right who are already saying, no, it's not right enough for us?
No, what I'm saying there is that the minute was conceived, but it was conceived in the idea of not restricting free speech. Right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the left,
it was immediately labeled as Nazi Twitter again, right? But that's the thing is, regardless of what you do there, they're going to call it that, right? So what you're talking about here,
but I don't think anybody would care if they go over there, though.
Well,
I mean, you're leaving Twitter for a reason, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So here's the thing: is if you are looking for a conservative hug box on Twitter, you'll find it. Okay.
Conservative hug box. It sounds horrifying.
Well, that's what it is. Well, what do you? Okay. Okay. Allow me to use the Latin phrase, circle jerk. All right. Whatever you want to call it.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right,
yeah.
Fine.
Peter party.
All right, whatever the scientific nomenclature is these days, that's fine. Go with that. But you can find that over there, right?
Sure, yeah.
You just, it's not going to be as big as you want, and you're going to see other debates. You will definitely find leftist hug boxes, circle jerks, what did you call it? Peter parties?
Peter parties.
You will find leftist Peter parties on Twitter anywhere you look.
Oh, right? Yeah, no, we know those are there.
Right.
So, yeah.
So,
in fact, they're better at fighting each other than anything else.
Here's the thing. This is the way that this develops. Okay, is I just want you to think about any social group in any competitive element, because a lot of people aren't there to go out there and say like, oh right, this whole thing in the Ukraine right now be a lot different if these guys were running the show, like, God bless the Second Amendment, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to find people that say that, but that's not what they're there for, okay? You have some people that are going to go into conservative Twitter, right? And then you're going to go into regular jerk-off Twitter. Mm-hmm. But what they really want here is like, all right, these are fine, these are fine. What's the PvP server?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there is going to be a PvP server.
Well, and that's ultimately what it is so instead of having a PvP server,
that's a good way to put it.
You're going to have raids.
It's all PvE.
You're going to have so it's PvE over here, and then it's raids, because you're going to want to go raid conservative Twitter, and conservative Twitter's going to want to go raid regular Twitter, and you're just going to get in arguments. A bunch of people are going to get banned. You know, that's all you're going to do.
Yeah, but it's all going to be PvE raids, man. So they're going to see something that happens on conservative Twitter and just bitch about it on liberal Twitter, and not actually jump over to conservative Twitter.
Or some people will go over there like
they get banned. You know,
well, you're supposed to not be able to get banned for arguing, right? Which is fine, but they will ban the shit out of you on Twitter. So, like, you get the same thing, but ultimately it's just going to be a fight like, what's our PvP? That's it. Because a lot of people aren't there to agree.
What if they don't ban you on the conservative Twitter, and then people that are having fun going over there starting arguments keep starting going over there, and everyone leaves old Twitter? Because you can actually have debate or whatever you want to call it.
It won't happen because the reason that Twitter even survives right now is because... you and I talked about this before. The Twitter became basically like the journalist newswire.
Yeah, it's basically the newswire now.
Right. And like you can have a conserva option of that, but it's not the same.
Yeah, but it's like just having one. It's just like having just Fox on the dial.
Right.
So you're not going to get your blood pressure up unless they bitch about the other channels that you can't go watch. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So yeah, I like the analogy of a PvP server because like virtually every game that I've played online, people self-select into one or the other.
Bingo.
So it's kind of like one of those things. It's like, no, I don't want to play with other fuckers. So I just want to know what's going on in the news.
Exactly.
So they're going to stay on the PvE server over there on Twitter. And then the PvP server is just going to turn into a shitstorm.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm telling you, I went PvP. That was my experiment. I've been doing PvP for a while, right? And just it's fun. Will knows exactly what I'm talking about.
This is great, man. So,
all right, then. Okay,
I never thought about that.
Look,
yeah, it's just like a WoW server. You got peaceful ones, and then you got the PvP one, where it's like all on, and you lose your gear.
Right. I lost my gear.
Yeah, you lose your
gear.
Dude,
I didn't get res. It's like. I'm telling you. Well, this is the same. I have been doing experiments into like social stuff for a long time. That is where Jeffrey's theory of wounded dog on Xbox Live came from. Was just open and honest feedback, and we learned a lot about human nature via that experiment
and reporting Nazis.
It was
yeah.
We just did that though.
Yeah, you're right. We just did that. Wounded Dog Theory was a good one, though. So that's where you're actually nice to somebody on the chat or something like that.
The rule was after every match or session, I had to send individualized, honest feedback in a friendly way, complimenting them on what they did, what they could do better, and the sheer number of people. Like, I did not get many people that were just straight up, go fuck yourself.
You got a couple.
I got a couple, but I just said, I have to stop after every match, and I have to do this.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of people that reached out to me in like a very personal way afterwards.
Yeah. Like, oh, my mom just died. Thanks so much. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. But there was a lot of like just instant like friend requests and all this other stuff and messages back and thanks, man, and but yeah, it was just all I had to do was assess what happened but address it positively. And the people there were so used to getting insulted and fucking lambasted that when they saw like genuine feedback, this is what I said, wounded dog, you have these animals in the alley that are so used to being kicked that like when you approach them they growl.
Yeah.
But then when you actually approach them with a piece of pizza, they suddenly become your dog for life. They're like, you want me to kill somebody? I'll do it.
Yeah. I'll do it for you, man. Yeah.
It's like, this is all it took? And I was like, holy shit, the online world is so ugly.
You could get 10,000 followers.
No, I get being nice to people is not how you get it is not how you get followers on Twitter.
No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah.
People all people want to do you get followers by dunking. It is the All-Star Break dunk contest
on somebody's head.
All you're trying to do. You're trying to get in there as short as possible, short answers, insulting.
Yeah. Stabby.
Yes.
Really stabby. Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is...
I'm glad to not be a part of it.
Oh, no, me too. I mean, I signed up for Twitter. I still have a Twitter account, I believe. I haven't checked it in a couple of years. But I signed up...
It's a waste of time.
Well, I signed up to it just because, like, Dan Carlin was on there.
Yeah.
So, and he'd always talk about that on his shows and stuff like that. Back when he was doing the political stuff. And I was like, yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind seeing your takes on things. Until he quit because like Twitter was even terrible to a guy like that. Yeah. So, and it was like, what the fuck, man? So, so I had the Pope on mine. You don't see how much shit he gets.
Wow. There is Yikes. Way too much stuff. Yeah, you're yiking right now. There was way too much stuff of, I triple dog dare you to say that to my face.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Right. And there is so much that one of the biggest issues I have with Twitter, right, is aside from the actual verification, which is why they become invincible, right, is that you can actually attest to these people's provenance, right, the what they've done, what their history is, right, and you can go to their Wikipedia page and say like, oh yeah, okay, well he's the son of Jewish immigrants, but there's a lot of people on Twitter that jump into an argument and start saying and then list off a whole myriad of things that they could not possibly be.
Yeah.
So as a
3 of 5 check marks on the list. Yeah.
5 of 5 is the minimum.
Yeah.
And for God's sake,
Right. 7 out of 5.
Yeah, 7 out of 5. You'd better have the fucking, god awfully ugly trans flag in your profile and 17 pronouns.
Is that one that's blue and pink, like baby blue and pink? Okay.
Blue, pink,
I
and
have
white,
seen that.
right?
Yeah. I thought it was the Russian flag for a little while.
I thought so too. Yeah, I was like,
What does the Russian flag?
It's red, white, and blue with 3 bars.
Okay.
So
yeah, it looks kind of like a bomb pop.
it does look like a bomb pop. You're exactly right. Are they called bomb pops or rocket pops? I couldn't remember.
They're bomb pops if you get them from the ice cream truck.
Okay.
But I think if you get it from like Safeway,
It's a rocket pop?
or they're like called firecrackers.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, there are. See, I was starting to wonder if it's like
It might be
like it's King Supers here, but Kroger's like on the other side of Mississippi.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's something else west. It's
if you want
further west.
soda or if you want pop.
It's like fries. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bomb pop flag.
So yeah, and then there's that. You have to have your pronouns, and then you have to have a list of at least 7 mental diseases that you.
Oh man! Ever since you pointed that out a couple weeks ago, I've been seeing that shit everywhere.
Is it not
Where?
terrifying?
So I don't even understand what half these fucking words are.
Where are you seeing?
So well, it's like it's just on Twitter and stuff. I don't go on Twitter
under their like.
Well, but it'll be like as like I don't even know what some of
as
the
they
terms
post
are.
their thing.
Oh, if you
know?
go under their bio, you'll see
Yeah.
that there is. They will list bipolar,
Right.
neurodivergent.
No, there was another one that I mean, it was like a conglomeration of like 4 different words that I was like, what the fuck is? It was like borderline, not like personality, but that was where they were kind of going with it. It was like
and stuff like that.
it was like this transient kind of like
You list this
I don't even know why
voluntarily.
you would fucking do that.
Like just
you
okay.
throw it out there.
Oh my
like,
god,
this
dude!
is-
I can't.
Dude, if I had a Twitter bio on there, it'd be like normal human, completely completely harmless. Yeah.
Dude, that is nuts.
Well, it's funny because I'm not putting us in a certain generational territory or just the guys we hang out with, but what I'm telling you is, now that I look back on it, I hung out with guys who would, if you had a condition, you would go out of your way to hide it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You didn't want anybody to know. It's like, don't fucking not call me to go fishing just because I have a bad shoulder, right? My shoulder's fine.
Right. Well, not even physical, but if you were like going to therapy or something as a kid,
right.
like, where were you Thursday? None of your fucking business.
Yeah.
So
Exactly, yeah.
I remember seeing friends like, going through like mediations. So their parents were getting divorced. They didn't want anybody to fucking know about it.
Not anybody's business. Or this is like the time period where eventually, after knowing somebody for 8 years, they say, "Yeah, I'm dyslexic."
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. So I'm tone deaf. That's why I can't sing.
It's not just can't. You've asked them to sing in the past. I'm like, no.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Man, I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't.
Well, shit, wasn't it Kevin's brother couldn't read until he was like 19? So that's fucking crazy. So
Well, my boy says that he already knows of 2 or 3 people that have mental problems leading towards suicidal tendencies.
oh my god.
That sucks.
I'm like,
Well, I'm glad if they need help. I'm glad they're getting it, but
But he's in 5th grade. How would he fucking know this unless the teacher said something?
one of them is a real good friend.
Okay,
Or a pretty
alright.
good friend.
so this could have been
That's legit.
self-disclosed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
alright.
we got a note from, or we got an email from the school saying one of the kids in his class
Come on, man.
was
Yeah.
the issue with it, just to let you all know that this has been brought up in the class. We had to have a conversation
That
about
poor
it.
kid.
I
You just
know.
made it worse.
I know.
You know? So, yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Over the years, I've had, like, students' parents call me from time to time, or, like, leave me a voicemail or send me an email or something and say, oh, well, Johnny's got ADHD and was diagnosed with this since at this point in time, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't fucking care, and I'm not allowed to actually share any of this information with you anyway, so I just deleted your email. You know? But then the next day, I mean, or sometimes you'd be like, did my mom email you? I was like, yeah, it's totally cool. Just do your work. So, you know, don't worry about it.
Well, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Or, well, like, so sometimes, and I used to see this a lot more in the community calls than anywhere else. You'd have people who had, like, you know, listed disabilities. So the first thing that, like, they would learn when they get into, like, you know, welcome to college, it was like, oh, go to the disability office if you have ADHD. So, you know, and they'll fucking fix you right up with this sheet that you got to pass around like it's like a fucking Jewish star, you know, where it's like, oh, yeah. where it's like, oh, yeah, I have trouble taking tests, and I need all my lectures recorded, and is it okay if I record you, and blah, 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 blah. Students would bring those to me, and I would be like, there you go, just sign it. And they're like, well, don't you need to know what's on there? I was like, no, you're going to be fine in the class. You're going to be absolutely fine. Just do your work. So it's like, well, what if I need more time? I was like, there's no due dates around here. Just get it done.
Right. I cannot possibly afford you anymore.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have the maximum amount of time.
You have, the maximum amount of time.
It's funny because it's funny that you mentioned that too, because that is such a sneaky way. Again, that's my old chair taught me that trick, and I was happy to share that knowledge with you about the unlimited due dates.
Unlimited due dates. Yeah.
Because what's funny is that is an accommodation that is baked in that you never have to do. It's like doing this all for the purpose of not having to do accommodations. It's like, well, if I treat all of you like you have ADHD, and if I treat all of you like you have test anxiety, then I don't have to make adjustments for any of you.
Nope. Don't have to do that. If I record my lectures anyway and they're on YouTube, guess what? You don't have to do it. I already did it, you know. And so it's just like, it was so easy, and that was just that policy, the 30% haircut immediately policy.
Yeah.
I even stopped doing that. I don't even care. So it's like, fine.
Well, you have to keep track of it.
Yeah. And, well, no, okay. So I made this really sneaky adjustment that actually got people to actually perform a lot better in my classes. So it used to be that we would actually calculate grades as a running grade, and so if something was due on Friday, I'd grade it on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'd show up there and be like, oh, you got an A in it, so you got an A in the class. Now, I changed that completely so it is a total now. And you turn in something the first Monday, it's worth 20 points. You may have gotten an A on that assignment, but you still got a big fat fucking F in the class because you haven't done 99% of the work yet.
Oh, do the math yourself.
And so all my classes are always out of 1,000 points, and I was like, it's really easy to do the math in here. So the grade that shows up in your phone on your thing that your coach sees is your I quit today grade. Okay, so if you quit my class today, that is what you get. So nobody gets an A in my class until like the last 3 weeks of the class. So,
wow!
Like, look, here's the denominator. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they'll hit me up from time to time. So I say, if your coach ever has problems, just have him call me or email me. Yeah. So, you know, but if he's spying on you and they do that, they go into the student learning system.
Does everybody have a coach?
Well, if they're in athletics.
Gotcha.
Sorry, if they're in athletics.
Gotcha, okay.
Because athletics, they have to have grade checks to maintain eligibility under NCAA.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a career coach in my job.
You have a career coach? You have a mentor?
Yes, I guess so.
You do?
Yeah.
Why? I had one once and they were just absolutely worthless. Because they didn't advocate for shit.
I don't really know what my coach does yet, but like the company's so big that they have so many things that you have to check in on.
Yeah,
you have to have this done right here. You have to show this.
They just don't want you to quit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. I think when I worked, there was one job where I had a quote mentor, and he was actually pretty fucking cool, but I pissed him off after a while.
How?
I didn't listen to him.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he was cool, dude, but he was definitely a corporate shill. So
So I didn't know if the college is just like, oh, now we have student coaches that help
I think,
guide everybody
yeah,
through.
I think our department, we have 2 counselors. One for the graduate students and one for the undergrads. And I think they see them like maybe once a year kind of thing. So
I saw mine once in all the years I went to college.
and that was when I was getting ready to graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Did your audit.
Yep. And this was like the single most unhelpful person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny is I had an impression of what that person was going to be from movies.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right?
It's gonna be this nice, like, guy with the elbow patches on his fucking tweed jacket who's like, just pull up a chair, son, and let's talk about your future. Yeah. So then you go in there and you realize it's like, wait a minute, I'm a senior, you're a sophomore on work study? What the fuck? So,
And it was just, so I looked this over. Okay, go on. I want to be an astronaut. They're like, no, not that. You need to take these 4 classes. Like, that's it? I was expecting like a heartfelt like discussion about
right.
what to do in life.
No. They're basically just looking at your transcript and making sure they can get money out of you.
Fucking numbers in and numbers out. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my God.
I did so much counseling at that first school that I worked at that, and then when I went over to the community college and there's 0 unless you're disabled.
Oh,
Crazy,
right,
man. So,
right.
yeah, it was like
Right.
I had students all the time coming to me. It's like, well, I went over to the counseling center and they're supposed to like help me do my credit transfer. And I was like, let me see your transcript. I used to do these.
Oh,
And I was looking
that's
at them,
cool.
and they were like, well, how much of this can I get transferred over? I was like, none of these. Okay, so I get it, but you're not in a degree program that will actually accept these as credits. Okay, so you have 2 choices. Either walk away from those and keep going the way you're going, or change your program. Okay, so it was all the time because nobody would get any help. So
What a mess.
It is, but I understand why it's a mess. So, like, every school and every faculty, they decide what to teach. Okay, there's not a state system that turns around and says this is what an English class looks like in college. It's up to the faculty at the individual college, and so they're all fucking different. Because like the program that I teach in is way different than the one that I actually took. So in terms of the types of classes and how they're organized and stuff, but they're the same degrees. It's totally different.
Gotcha.
And so it's always up to the downline school to decide. And so, like, I used to get people pissed off all the time. Oh, I did all this shit in the military. I took all these classes. Why don't they proper? It's like, it's because you're going into accounting. You didn't take any fucking accounting classes.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh,
So, right. It was usually that simple. It was like, I thought all these college credits, it was like a sum total. I was like, no, you got to take the right classes in the right things in order to get the degree.
I'm gonna take home ec and actually get a
Oh, yeah.
physics degree.
fucking awesome. Yeah,
time.
you do that for a while. Yeah, you just sit there and take, I don't know, a whole bunch of history classes.
Right, I'm a nuclear engineer.
And then, yeah, finish out on the last one and say, yep, lawyer me up.
Lawyer me up. Yeah, exactly. Put my hand on the book.
If I get enough of these worthless credits to translate
Yeah.
into credits to do something.
Oh, that would be some bullshit.
All right, I didn't realize those questions they didn't even look for like the lowest common denominator. Like, yeah, they don't translate. That makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what's interesting is I actually find that the idea of, I think that the actual, generally speaking, like the less uniform the approaches are, I think the better the programs will be in terms of actually finding the place that's a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of trying to do this, God, I'm trying to think about like the cracker for everybody. What, saltines?
All right.
Right? You eat it.
Salt or no salt.
Yeah, you eat it. Nobody actually likes it.
Right, yeah.
But how many places would you have to try to find what fits you?
You might
How
have to
would you-
try a few.
And how would you like jump like that? Especially at the cost of what it is. Like, how are you going to be able to jump from this school to this school to this school to try and find what?
I think that's going to get more flexible in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
So college is going to be very different. By the time your kid gets to, and our kids get to college, so it's going to be very different than it is right now. Yeah. It's going to be insanely more expensive than it is. It's going to be a lot more flexible. All right, meaning
way more accessible.
Way more accessible. So you're going to have like, see, the cool thing is, and I'll probably have this talk with my daughter at some point in time because my wife and I have agreed we're not paying a nickel for our college, and so. Hell no. She and I both put ourselves through school. She can do the same. So, it's totally doable. Go get a fucking job. So, but then, like within that entire thing, there's a lot of ways to do it. So, like the best way to do it right now is in high school, you can do concurrent classes with the community college.
Yeah.
Do a couple of those, get yourself on the community college record, get yourself like 12 to 16 credit hours under your belt. Then go, after you graduate from high school, go spend a year at the community college. Okay? Flesh out, because you can easily get your associate's degree at that point in time. Or go to a mid-level, or if you can get into it, a state school at that point in time. Finish all the way out in a state school. All right, do a really good job. If you actually want to go major league after that, so in your senior year, start looking at graduate programs at Ivy League schools. You'll get in. So if you actually have that kind of like academic chutzpah behind you on that at that point in time. I see so many people like I got a buddy, right now, and his kids are all excited and stuff because they're getting into they're applying to places like Penn and MIT and shit like, and that's great if you can get in that.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely fantastic, but that's about quadruple the cost.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. So, and then like whatever you do, don't ever go to a fucking private school anymore. They're so fucking expensive. It's not even funny. Unless you're broke. So, like...
Oh, right.
Yeah,
your
if you're
parents
poor,
have nothing and...
yeah, but you ain't pair.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So you ain't going to get no help,
Nothing.
man. Yeah.
Unless he straight up earns a free ride somewhere doing something.
It's called the Air Force.
Right.
So I tell my daughter that. I was like, oh, you want to be a veterinarian? You know who needs vets? The Air Force. So they got guard dogs.
You like dogs.
You like dogs. Yeah, but it's crazy. And so like I can see it like so clearly. Like I have no idea if we're going into World War III in the next 3 weeks. Okay.
You really think it could blow up that big?
I think it absolutely could. I don't think that's I don't think that's probable. So I think it's definitely possible. But like college, I know exactly. I can just see it. Like it's like if I had the book, all right, the gambling book that Uncle Biff gave me, yeah. So when it comes
Gray's Sports Almanac.
Gray's Sports Almanac, yeah. I can see that with college. So like all your like my school, your D2 schools and stuff like that, they're all going to turn into online commuter shit with a headquarters campus where you go sign paperwork one day. Or if you play a sport, you live there, but nobody else does.
Okay.
Well, it's terrible, man.
No, not just sport, but there's a lot of activities there too. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of...
You can see those schools specialize in that stuff, man. So, like, my school probably triple down on sports and won't do shit with art.
I agree. Yeah.
This school over here will probably do a shitload more with art since they just built that fucking center, And, they've got a sports complex, but they're never getting a football team. So...
No. But at the same time, like, if you're going to, University of Nebraska, sports and, like, marching band and stuff are big...
Okay, so that's D1. Okay, then it's R1. Okay, R1 institutions will look just like they do today.
Okay,
they'll be twice as fucking expensive. So they will be twice as expensive because all the students like those are going to be your schools.
What's R1?
R1 like CU Boulder.
Oh,
so or Fort Collins. So absolutely R1. No. R1 means it's a research institution, but it's also D1 in the NCAA, so it's basically your flagship institution. So like University of Nebraska, Lincoln will be like that. That'll be if you're willing to cough up like 80 or 90 grand a year to have the quote college experience. So it's going to be that fucking expensive. So it's just going to get worse and worse. So
is Fort Collins technically, are they A&M?
They were established as an A&M school.
Greeley is, right?
No, I think it was Fort Collins.
Really?
So,
Or yeah, Fort Collins definitely was.
yeah.
They definitely were? Okay.
Yeah, it's a land grant school. So
Okay.
I don't know if Greeley might be too. So Boulder is not. So
No, they're
No.
not. But I thought Fort Collins was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an actual-
It was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was A&M.
That's where the big veterinary college is
Yeah.
with large animals.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's where our vet went. So I haven't seen that dude in a while.
I think, is Fort Collins the only place in this state that actually has marine biology?
Marine?
Yes.
I don't
I
know.
believe there's...
Oh wait, I thought you did that for a little while.
Marine?
Yeah.
No, micro.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about like...
I did not do water animal.
yeah, they do have an oceanography program up there too.
Yeah, I thought
I didn't know
there was one college in this state that actually, landlocked as we are, has a marine biology.
Actually, Mines does too. You know why?
Why?
Offshore drilling. So-
I don't know why that matters.
huh?
Can't do that now.
Oh, I don't know. But
Well, I didn't know it back then.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
no, but yeah, that's they canceled all those leases.
Who did?
The current sitting president.
How does he cancel the leases?
Oh, they get to. Yeah, the feds get to control a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Oh, okay.
They decide. Yeah, they
It's
decide
on-
who gets the.
If it's not on privately owned land,
Oh, okay.
they can.
See, I was under the impression that most of those were privately owned.
Who owns the
The
who
Gulf of
would own
Mexico?
The Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, yeah.
Who owns it?
Oh, I thought Exxon did. Or BP.
We stamped the ground with all these holes, and we now own it.
Little flags.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
By drilling on it, it does not mean you own it. That's. There's no squatters' rights when it comes to.
Right, yeah. You just wheel up your fucking rig.
All right,
Drop it down.
Okay, so with this World War III action, here's the optimism I can give you, and I got this from a genuine Ukrainian.
Okay.
They said no longer than 2 weeks.
Why? Who's going to win?
They said it's not a winning or losing kind of thing.
Yeah.
They said it is just the way that she said it to me was this is just a cultural thing that you don't understand. They said this is in the same way that we try to impose American values on the Middle East. They said there is also something about that area that we don't understand as Westerners. They said
Sure.
this is just part of the cycle. Idiots in power like this will do this from time to time, and it will go away.
Because they have 200,000 troops going in to take over 40 million.
In the Ukraine?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
40 million. So they're not going to keep it. It's just
No. Well, and this is why I asked very specific military questions. I said, what is the strategic value? I was like, if you want to argue for, Crimea, right, where you're talking about access to water, right, that actually makes sense. I wouldn't do it. People would be mad at me. But I can see that. I said, what is the strategic value that they're trying to take here? Because I've seen the maps, right? When the first thing they said that they actually conquered was Chernobyl,
right.
she was like, they can have it. We'll give it to them. Right? But
I thought that was just because it was actually in between
correct.
Belarus and Kiev.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that
it's not like they grabbed it. They're like, yeah, we got it.
this was like, why do you want it? Like, it's like the carrots you grow here aren't good for eating. Right?
Right. If you can keep them in the ground.
Well, and they're saying like the Putin would go all the way to, keep going all the way through. I'm like, what is this, like Risk? You're going to leave one guy in each? What's going on here? Like,
Yeah, and I said, like, I was even just like breaking that demographics. I'm like, Russia's not, this is not top 10 GDP. And you're losing money on this endeavor big time. And the second that you do this, you know that everybody's going to be like, well, I don't want to trade with you. You're a jerk, right? So we're talking about a huge money losing endeavor. I'm like, what exactly are they doing? And she's like, look, a lot of this is for show. A lot of this is to appease the old hardliners that remember communism fondly. They feel like their nation is falling apart. And, this is something that you do. I was like, is that it? She's like, I can't promise you. She's like, but based on the history of the region, This is just what we do. This is why I live here.
Yeah.
Like,
I've heard similar arguments already.
now you probably buy in a little bit more to the more sinister side of this being a test run to what the Chinese are thinking of doing.
That's my primary concern.
Right. That's the World War III scenario.
Yeah, China tries to take Taiwan. Within 2-3 weeks, they nuke a U.S. aircraft carrier group. At which point in time, everything goes lights up. Yeah. So,
we're all too old to draft, so
yeah, but we live next to fucking 4 military installations that are all like fairly. In fact, one of them's famous from a movie that had to do with the Cold War. So obviously everybody's going to target this. So I told my brother, I was like, all right, man. So if the missiles come, just give me a phone call so I can get on my roof because I want a good view. Yeah. So, but I don't want to.
What are you talking about? You get under your desk.
Sure. Yeah. So.
oh, yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. See, the funny, yeah, it's just like, I walked down this entire, like, batch of literature, like, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, basically about, like, nuclear war and how fucking bad, it literally will kill everybody. So you will not have a fallout land. So afterwards, where people are walking around and stuff and fighting each other in sand-based economies for gasoline and water. It will literally kill everybody.
I'm okay to be incinerated then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. All right. Is because like we haven't had a city burn since Tokyo. So the way, yeah, and there are many more cities and a lot more stuff in them and a lot more toxins and all kinds. Anyway, it's all really fucking bad. All right, so
you read about like U-238 tampers and all that other
absolutely,
shit.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. You're fucked. Even if you have like a underground bunker in your backyard, you're gonna starve within 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, because literally nothing can grow after that. So, yeah, it's truly horrifying. And the size of the bombs that they have, like even from the 60s. Like 1 Minuteman 3, and, Castle Bravo is like, well, and the Russians had the biggest one, the Tsar Bomba, yeah, which is like hundreds of thousands of Hiroshima bombs in one bomb. So yeah, like literally like burn the atmosphere away kind of stuff. So it's terrible and it's terrifying. And I think the Chinese are stupid enough to try something like that. So, but like, okay, so the Putin thing. The one piece of like pessimism that I have on this is I think the guy just wants a good fucking war. So we gave him out after out after out over the last 3 weeks. So, and he didn't take, and he just beelined right for it.
Oh,
so yeah, and that kind of caught me off guard because I was like, okay, well, just do the sensible thing here, which is like get NATO together. Everybody in NATO says, all right, so if anybody wants to join, all of us have to do this. So who's going to take the hit and tell them that they can't come in? Let it be the French. Or something, they'd probably be proud of that, So, and so even I guarantee that stuff was going on behind the scenes and backdoor channels and things like that. And then when the U.S. intelligence services started beating the drum last week, you're like, oh my God, he's going to invade. And then it turned out they were absolutely right about everything. It's like, oh, well, fuck, okay. So maybe they did have the dude pegged. And so I think the dude just wants a good war, to tell you the truth. He wants to be a wartime leader. He's been in power for 25 years. Mm-hmm. So, and like he's been a good boy. So I guess. Well, the last 10 years, yeah, he's been kind of weird.
Okay, so there's one part of this that people are glossing over.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm not saying that I'm doing this in praise of anybody or saying like, boy, this would be different with a different president. What I can tell you is that there was one bit of exchanged information when it came between those two. Mm-hmm. And Donald J. Trump actually did tell him, he said, you step 1 foot in Ukraine and bombs fall on Moscow.
Yeah. I don't think Biden would say that. Yeah.
No, he didn't. He absolutely did
I don't
not.
think he would.
No.
Yeah.
But the former lunatic in charge is...
Dude, it's not good to have a lunatic in charge.
Well, the only thing I can
Look at Xi Jinping. Come on, we can't do that.
No. The one thing that I can say is that this shit did not happen under his watch.
No.
And if the deterrent is enough that it didn't happen, I don't know. But all I can say is that this didn't happen with the last guy in charge.
No.
Now, what that means, I don't know. And the worst
Well, you're
thing-
making a pretty hard insinuation here that basically if Biden weren't president, we wouldn't be in this shit.
No,
Is that where
I'm
you're
not.
going with that?
All I'm saying is that it didn't happen under the last guy's watch.
Yeah, but is that because it was just because of the last guy, or was it because Putin wasn't ready to do that?
Can't say.
Yeah, okay.
Can't say. But I do know that he does have that on record as having said it. I do not know, I have seen no evidence that any of the other guys have said that or been that direct.
No, I don't think so.
And of course, there was a previous annexation, and it wasn't under the last guy's watch.
No, that was under Obama. So,
The same guys from the same
the
penis party.
Crimea one is actually a little bit more justifiable because
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
yeah, they were actually, it has nothing to do with access to water and stuff. It's just everybody there speaks fucking Russian. So
There's that, but it is a
yeah.
strategically valuable.
Sure,
place.
yeah, but Sevastopol is a famous old school Russian city because it's at the bottom of, yeah, but anyway, neither here nor there in that situation. I think the untold story was actually that Ukraine basically fought those guys off over the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, so yeah, I think
Because what is his
this
justification?
doesn't
What does he
end.
say?
This does not end unless something happens to Putin. So he's got to lose support at home. He's got to be ousted or arrested or something like that. But as long as he's in charge, I don't think this ends until it becomes patently apparent: A, they're going to lose; B, the Ukrainians lose, and then he's got a Vietnam situation on his hand for the next 20 years.
Worst possible scenario.
Absolutely, that's. Well, I don't know if
This
that's the
is
worst
so-
possible
for
scenario.
him.
I don't know.
For him,
For
in
him, that
terms
was
of-
terrible. I
is
don't
to
think.
drag that out. Yeah.
I don't think he would actually be able to sustain it too terribly long, but it could be several years, you know.
They don't have the money to do this.
Yeah, but lack of money never stops someone from starting a good war. So, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I got you. I read you loud and clear. So you're
Yeah.
talking maybe go back in time 70 years ago. And,
Well, you don't even have to go back that far.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
I mean, remember Dick Cheney is the guy who famously said deficits don't matter when we're in a war. Yeah. So, and I don't know, every bridge in America could have been replaced like 8 times, even the big ones. So for what we spent over there. So, you know,
I don't know.
but so that, yeah, so like it'll depend. We'll have to watch and see what happens the next few days with like Kiev and stuff like that. If it turns into a fucking Stalingrad wasteland, we're in a war within a month. You know, it'll start with like, oh, well, we're going to impose a no-flies, or we're going to send in fucking peacekeepers here, or something like that. So
You can't do that.
I don't think
you can't say that. People will know.
I think that if like it gets to the point in time where America's got a big bad to fight again, you're going to see a lot of people flip on this one the next couple of weeks and say, look what the fuck these guys do. We just go over and kick ass, blah, blah, blah. You know? I know, man, but it's
way.
it's an old school war, man. It's not like, oh, let's go over there and build schools. It's like, no, let's go over there and fuck shit up. So I guarantee you
America
that.
cares.
No, they can't. They can't. This is not because this is not a borders kind of war. It is not there's I haven't seen anything
Well, it's
that
the
even,
definition of a borders kind of war.
no, there's no part of this that feels like a you have incurred on this, so me and my guys declare war on you formally on the
Yeah.
25th of February, and
No,
these
it's
are
not
the
like that,
terms
yeah.
of victory and surrender. No,
Well, what do you think if gas goes up like $2 per gallon? Like, which side will people?
the side that people will be on is on the side that votes out everybody who is in power.
Yeah, see, that's a pretty easy fix. If gas goes up $2 a gallon, he just renews those leases. So
But he says he can't.
they'll figure it out.
Even
They'll
then, you're
figure it out.
not going to get it day one.
Yeah, I know, but it'll make it look like you are. And so, you know, sometimes perception's more important than what's actually happening. I don't know,
But what
man.
happens is basically the midterms are even more of a bloodbath than they're going to be right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, but even then, the midterms, like, yeah, that's this fall, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God! But so much can happen between now and November. We could have Aaron Rodgers in Denver.
We could.
We could.
I don't know.
And that's going to determine the president. What are we at right now?
We're at $1.30. Okay. Yeah, $1.28.45. So up, down, odds on getting Rodgers? I know you want him, so I'm a little bit. I'm gonna discount you by 20%.
I want him, but
what are you anchoring him?
Yeah.
Dude, he is odd. Like
I love that though.
Like,
What do you mean odd?
like you hear his last like
Correctly
tweet
weird.
thing that he brought out. That
dude, he's a weirdo.
he went
man.
on his whatever thing
He
that
got
it
broke
was.
up and not broke up. And
Well, no, then he had this thing where you go away for like 10 days or whatever, and you
walk
do like
about.
forced vomiting and like all
the
this stuff to
cleansing,
clear
yeah.
yourself out
Yeah,
and all this
cleansing,
kind of thing. And then he tweeted like got all this. It sounded like it was a good run and all this kind of thing. And he posted a picture of like him missing in between Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb, and everyone's just like, oh, he's quitting. Oh no, this was just me going through my little trip thing and all this kind of stuff. And
Well, it's not like
he's odd, but
yeah. I mean, Tom Brady had a fucking Yaga hoagie that was managing his health, and remember he couldn't drink water or Gatorade. He had that special like
Oh yeah.
vitamin
Couldn't
lemon
eat,
water.
like, nightshades or
can't,
tomatoes.
no tomatoes.
That's
no
like the only
strawberries.
time I've ever heard that. So was
He
Tom
said it.
Brady.
I said it. I had
because you
seen-
got it from Brady's book, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, and I had seen the word before, but I always thought it was something way cooler.
Yeah, I thought it was like, okay, I won't eat pomegranates or something.
No. There was I knew it because there was a really badass like future detective game called Nightshade on the NES that I played.
Got it.
The name comes from fucking tomatoes and strawberries. I'm like, this is corny. So when it's like, I don't eat these things, I'm like, oh, that's true. I don't eat oil either. I don't eat crude oil or whatever. And it's whatever the fuck this thing that's bad is like, no, it's just tomatoes. They cause inflammation.
I don't think
I think life causes inflammation.
I think playing football probably causes
Probably
inflammation.
does. Yeah, and the solution isn't like tomatoes, it's aspirin.
Or a good, nice rest. Yeah.
I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers is a weirdo. But
He's a
I kinda
weirdo,
like
but
that.
I'm cool with it. He's
You can play football.
believe me, the other options they're talking about is Drew Lock comes back because they need to see it with the new coach and regime and
Oh, joy.
and I get it. If we don't get Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, all right, fine, bring Drew Lock back, whatever.
Oh. So this isn't like I'm going to stop being a Denver fan. Kind of thing.
No, it's not a Rocky situation.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we don't have any baseball yet
We don't have any
anyway,
baseball
so, we'll see.
God, that really...
You just really knifed it in the heart.
You
right
sure
there, man.
did,
Yeah.
man. Wow.
All right.
Oh, that's Denver sports for you.
No, the other two teams are cool.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Well, the Avs are insane. The Nuggets, if they can get their guys back by the end of the playoff, by the time playoff run starts, I'm good. Actually, I'm good with the Nuggets if I could watch them.
Yeah. My loyalty's been hockey, so...
I don't turn on the internet to watch the games, so
I'm not paying for it.
well, they still won't have a deal with
Yeah,
local
there is
networks.
that.
It's stupid.
It's just
Buys them.
so
I still don't understand how it blacks out NBA TV. I don't understand how ESPN and TNT get to show the games, but if it's on NBA TV, that gets blacked out because it's on a local station.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what
Can't
version
you
of
just
this.
watch it on the local station then?
No,
Why not?
because
they don't sell
Altitude
out the
doesn't have a
station,
deal.
Oh, okay. So it's not like just turning on channel 5 and 30 or something.
No.
So waiting for the game to end.
And
so you
even
can
if you sign
shut
up
the
for
TV
like the
off on Rock
NBA
Corner.
League Pass, they still black you out.
Yes, they do.
Dumb.
Yeah, it's funny you said 5 and 30.
Yeah.
They were at the grocery store yesterday when I was there.
Big news day.
You know what? And they would not talk to me. Because,
What do they recognize you as a Twitter troll?
Yeah.
no, well, it was funny because I tried to approach them with a different voice because there were
Why are you
No, well, 'cause-
pausing your voice?
no, yeah, well, no,
Oh, what you up to?
Excuse me, good sir.
well, it's weird because like I kept running into them and I was just like ignoring it because there were like two like reporter goons and the camera guy, and they just kept moving to different spots. But I was like, I was hanging out next to them, like where I was getting like my pot roast and stuff.
This was inside the grocery store.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I kept hanging out because I wanted to hear what they're reporting on, right? So I'm just kind of like milling around, but they're not talking about anything important. The fucking fat ass camera guy was just kind of, he was like, yeah, so we tried to do this, and maybe we'll try again. So he's just talking like boring camera shit. I'm like, get on with it, but they wouldn't report. So I'm headed to the checkout. I go to the line, and some DoorDash person is in the actual like line, and they're taking for fucking ever because they're doing like 4 orders and they have to break them up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
God damn it! I was like, I have to do the thing I don't want to do. I have to take a lot of groceries to the self checkout.
Oh, yeah, that's not fun.
So I go to the self checkout, and they have now moved. They are right next to where I am. They're like between the cigarette counter and that last like checkout. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing this stuff, and so yeah, I didn't give them like the hoo-hoo, Mickey Mouse. I made my voice deeper, right? And they just would not talk to me. I was like, "What are you guys reporting about?"
Should have gotten full Brock Sampson of them.
Kinda, I did, and they just kind of looked at me as like, "Don't worry about it." I was like, "You guys gave me the hi-hat, and you're a local news. Just tell me what you're reporting." I was like, "What's going on over there? What do you guys?"
Prices.
Yeah, it's got to be inflation.
I was hoping
cigarettes are $8 a pack. Yeah,
tell me that.
So, yeah,
Hush, hush.
I know, but they weren't talking about the story. They were having a personal conversation, which is why they may not have liked,
Like, just hand it over. I'm gonna be transcribing this anyway.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
5 and
I don't think you pay for that.
Oh
man.
my god,
That's what they got interns for.
Yeah,
So,
that's awful. Yeah. Yeah, it would not have anything to do with me. No,
I don't watch them anyway, man.
No.
So I can't stand that dude. So
well, it wasn't them. It was some girl I didn't recognize.
yeah, I know, but you get the same fucking anchor for the last 30 years. The guy's a douchebag. So
Yeah.
I hear he's a nice guy, but he looks like a douchebag. So, not my problem. Shouldn't be on camera.
He's gonna get home. He's gonna get yelled at and hit by his wife, and that's
Good.
He looks like the type.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he takes a pan to the head every now and then. So
There goes a man that has never won an argument at home in his life.
that is correct. Get back to work. It's Sunday.
He goes out to the garage. No, how much I hate you. Yeah.
Goes in the basement and watches World War II documentaries.
Dude has been working all of his life, and this harpy of a woman is gonna cleave his savings and retirement in half. Right?
Oh yeah, the day of. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, he's gonna get his gold watch at 65, and then divorce papers underneath it.
Now you work at Walmart.
So it was like, well, I'm not spending my life in Cancun with you. It's just rank speculation because I don't like the guy. So,
Well, you just look at him. He looks. How does a wiener like that just hold on to that spot?
Okay, the thing that I never liked about him is you could tell whenever somebody in the studio would fuck up on something, because he would just shoot laser eyes.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
So yeah, like it's like, like someone spools up the wrong thing, rather than just rolling with it like some of the other guys do.
Right.
So, or they laugh about it a little bit and
Yeah.
stuff. He'd be like, "I'm gonna fucking fire you
Yeah.
as soon as we get
Copy my
a
local
commercial."
levy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the famous Bill O'Reilly, we'll do it live. Like, there is no version of this where he was that upset just because shit was going bad on there.
Right.
Right. Bill O'Reilly has a grocery list of things that he's constantly upset about, and he took it out on the fucking teleprompter.
Yeah.
Right.
On the machine.
Right.
Yeah.
And the guy operating the machine, like, he did it.
Right.
Whereas, like, Rob Quirk, that should be like, oh, that's funny. Right. He's not living a straight. If you're shooting eye daggers at the people who just like, oh shit, he kicked the boom mic, didn't knock it over, but he moved it.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
And he's sitting there shooting eye daggers. Yeah, you're getting fucking whooped at home. You're gonna get cleaved.
Cleaved.
You answered the email to the Nigerian prince. I don't know what.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what his fuck up is, but he probably expected to like have a lot more for all of his years of hard work.
Right.
He does not have
He
it.
does not have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he anchors an evening show and a 10 p.m. show
Oh, yeah.
in the Midwest.
Like,
So
his daughter has changed her major like 4 times.
right, and wrecked that car that he bought for her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's Rob Port, guys.
Can I have the car? Yeah.
So if you are listening from out of state, or God bless you, out of this city even, you have no idea who we're talking about, but you have a local news guy just like him.
Just like him.
Just like him.
Might even be the weather dude. Yeah.
I don't know any of the local people.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. So just don't watch that one. You got 4 others.
know 'em all.
3 others.
I
Yeah.
don't watch any local.
No, it's you have your choice between him, and you have the choice between. You have the girl who looks great because she's in that market. If you put her out, if you took her out of double A and put her to triple or single A,
Oh yeah, you put her in Miami.
Yeah.
She's gonna get blown out of the water.
right? She's
So-
batting 212,
That's generous.
180.
Yeah, 180. 180 and barely holding on to a second spot. So yeah. She's in the 2-hole, man.
Yes, it is.
No, I think I've gotten
yeah.
enough trouble.
Yeah.
For today.
So, all right. Why don't you go ahead and take us out of here, Patrick?
I'm Pat.
I will.
I'm Jeffrey.